baby. A picture on my
Sunday,
wall
October 15th.
reminds me so
If you live in the state of Alabama or Georgia, you've had a rough 3 days. The Atlanta Braves have let us down for the second year in a row in a disgraceful fashion. The Auburn Tigers, for the sixth week in a row, have proven that you do need a quarterback to win a game. And the Alabama Crimson Tide has exposed their Achilles heel. Let's get into it, boys.
nice intro. I like that.
I like the beat,
Coming in
all
with the
that.
heat.
You're like Eminem's brother, but called Skittle.
I like
M&M,
Twix.
peanut M&Ms.
I like
You're up.
Twix.
Right or left?
Call me right. Left-handed people are weird. Hey, did y'all know that when I was in preschool and I was learning how to write, I naturally did it with my left hand, and then I looked around the classroom and everybody was doing it with their right hand, and so I switched. And I think that's why my handwriting looks like a ransom note.
That might be why you're a follower, not a
Cheap
leader.
scratch.
I'm a big follower. Big follower of the Heads Up Play podcast.
We got our Instagram page off. We got a total of, drum roll, Sam, how many subscribers do we have on YouTube?
Total subscribers on YouTube. Oh, you hit me with a heads up. Let's move on to the next subject, and I'll come back to you.
We're keeping receipts, everybody. We're like Deion Sanders.
But
And we're going to go over
subscribers. Whopping
Only-
number 6.
I'll make a
all the way
YouTube
up.
page and I'll get us up to 7.
And those 6 subscribers were me and my mom.
And a few others, obviously.
And a few others, of course. We almost have as
John,
many.
you have 2 moms though. Which mom is it?
You're right. I do have 2 moms now. Boom. All right, yeah, guys.
All
You know,
right.
great weekend of sports. We got tonight on Sunday, October 15th. We got the LCS baseball. Really don't want to talk about that a lot. You know, we will, of course, but still pain in my heart with the Braves. We had college football. We got NFL football going on right now. The Sunday night football game's about to kick off. It's been a great weekend. A lot of teams. We figured out who is what's the word? Frauds. Alabama football. And we're gonna get into it. We have Judge Sweaty Boy ready with his verdict
All rise.
on who he thinks is gonna be he's gonna give us the verdict of the game. So, Sweaty Boy, what's the first game we're gonna talk about today?
Well, who else? First game of the weekend, 11 o'clock Central game. Who else would we be talking about? Always got to start with the team. I don't give a piss about nothing but them. Look, the Alabama, this might be the most consistently inconsistent Alabama team possibly under the Saban era.
They just can't win it. They just can't blow a team out. They refuse to blow a team out.
You had them blown out going into half, and then didn't score a single point in the second half.
I mean, that first half looked amazing.
I don't know if it's just one side of the ball letting off the gas, something. Really don't know. Credit Arkansas for making some adjustments, and KJ Jefferson, fantastic quarterback. I mean, slung Terry on Arnold just right off him. That was the most frustrating play I have seen in a long time. You've had the dude sacked, and KJ Jefferson is just straight up bigger than you. So, yeah, credit to Arkansas for coming back. Also, if you're an Arkansas fan, goodness gracious, man, this is now going on like 3 or 4 straight weeks of almost wins, and you just can't get it done. Sam Pittman, I feel the pain for you Arkansas fans. I really don't, but I'm hoping and praying that he gets out of there sometime soon, because rough situation there in Fayetteville. But yeah, anyways, Alabama, consistently inconsistent. Can't seem to get going on both sides of the ball. It's one side plays really well, the other side plays not so well. And that's just kind of where they're at right now. Hopefully they'll get it picked up. But Nick Saban says they're going to keep working on things. It's the same thing every week. Come out with a win, but there's always something going on. Penalties, misplay by the quarterback, something to lead this team to just not play as good as they should be playing.
I mean,
No.
but like, isn't a close game a lot better than murder ball? You know, I don't know what murder ball is, but it's more exciting.
I want murder ball. I don't like the close games. After it's been too
A
close all
game
season.
I see where you're coming from. A close game is fun if it's a 2:30 CBS game between the top two SEC teams, or if it's a 7 o'clock ABC game or something. That was a weird game to me because usually those 11 o'clock slate games that Alabama plays at Bryant-Denny are the cupcake games. I thought we were playing Western Carolina. It was so weird. It kind of felt like it in the first half, and then Arkansas started coming back. I'm like, this is I can't make myself get as mad as I usually do. It was definitely frustrating, but like compared to watching them play USF, it was just different. I don't know if it was the time or what. I just wasn't as into it as I usually was.
I mean, in the first half, like, I know that when y'all were texting in the group, y'all were, you know, getting upset with them, but y'all have, like, y'all been spoiled the last however many years
We know
it's
that.
been.
Yeah,
of
Bama
just,
fans know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
of just coming out and blowing them out. But in that first half, I was like, even though it was Arkansas, I was like, all right, they figured it out. They're going to run away with it now. I still do think y'all are going to be in the SEC championship, and I still predict y'all to beat Georgia. Y'all are going to be the one loss that they have, in my opinion. But yeah, that second half was rough. It's penalties.
Achilles heel. It's penalties and something, Sweaty Boy. I think you might have touched on it before in our past podcast. Bama's defense is so good, but they get gassed because our offense goes 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. We forgot to run the ball in the second half. 3 and out.
There was a story in the second half, same as the Texas game. You are consistently inconsistent on offense. Jalen Milroe, for as much praise as we gave him in the Texas A&M game, he was not great in this game. He was okay, especially in the first half, but there were plenty of passes, especially in the what we call the intermediate passing game, 10 to 20-yard passes that are easy. Guys wide open. Amari Niblack, Hale wide open.
Wide open.
He just couldn't hit him. He just throws it a little too hard, a little too high, and the guys just can't rein it in. And on top of that, the offensive line just continues to disappoint. He gets sacked left and right. It's just a little ridiculous at this point for the unit on the team that we all expected to be the number one unit on the team. It's easily the weak link on that team.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong. It felt like the receiver, we was just dropping balls too. Like we wasn't catching nothing. Like we would have
22 Alabama.
I think it was like the fourth quarter. Y'all literally, I can't remember what receiver it was, wide open, nobody around him, soft like 7-yard pass, hit him right here.
Was it Burden?
Yes.
It was Burden,
and he dropped it, and I was like, that is uncharacteristic. And like, I get what Nick Saban.
It was Brooks. It was Ja'Cory Brooks. It was Ja'Cory Brooks.
They both have a name with a B, so give me some credit here.
No, you're right. Burden had 1 or 2 balls that he juggled too. I mean, there was a couple Burden could have called.
Can we talk a little bit about Burden?
Burden, he is not a Nick Saban player. He is not a Nick Saban player. He's
not a Kirby Smart player. He's a Georgia transfer. He plays like he's from 2008 Florida. I mean, lower the emotion just a little bit. It was like 1986 Miami player out there. Like, just catch the ball and go.
I'm terrified every time he catches the ball that we're going to get a penalty for excessive celebration or anything, unsportsmanlike conduct. What's it called? Unsportsmanlike. Is it unsportsmanlike conduct?
Right, unsportsmanlike
I don't know
conduct.
why I thought. You saw him the other day. He's lining up. He looks at the corner of the safety and he goes, "Come here." He tells him to line up. I thought, bro, chill out. Just play ball. Like, I get it. When you're in the zone, you're in the zone. But you really wasn't in the zone to be talking that kind of mess. This wasn't last week game. This is this week's game.
He is the Orlando Arcia for the Crimson Tide.
I can understand why Kirby Smart let him go. I understand why Kirby let him leave Georgia because
It's honestly a surprise that Nick Saban picked him up. I mean, it almost kind of seems like a desperation pickup out of the portal. It's like you're really gonna. There's a reason Kirby Smart let him go. You're really gonna pick him up, Nick Saban. He is not a Nick Saban player, to your point.
We are going to have to improve the second half because next week against Tennessee, Josh Heupel will execute on that kind of defense, breaking down, being gassed. Tennessee, if we have to execute it, we have to get better on offense. But let's get on Arkansas. Let me ask y'all: how much time does Sam Pittman have? Is he on the hot seat?
Done.
How hot is his seat right now?
I think it's on fire.
Yeah, his butt's got about second-degree burns right now. But he'll make it through the season. He'll be fired very soon after their last game. They will not make a bowl. They're already sitting at 5 losses, I believe. This is not, and it's tough for Arkansas fans. It was tough for Sam Pittman because a lot of these losses have been very close. Came very close to beating Alabama, very close to beating LSU. He played Texas A&M, very tough. So it's just not getting the job done, though. So, no, I don't see Sam Pittman sticking around any longer after this season.
See, I'm going to disagree. I think Pittman maybe have one more year. His stats are 2020. Of course, Arkansas, nobody was judged. That was bad. When he got Arkansas, it was bad. 3-7. 2021 went 9-4. Pretty dang good with Arkansas. Like, okay, second year. Third year last year went 7-6. Not the greatest. And then this year so far 2-5 with a total record of 21-22. I don't know. My thing is, if I'm Arkansas and you're going to fire Sam Pittman, okay, you're going to fire him on a Tuesday. You better have your coach ready on Thursday because everybody's going to go ahead and because I'm already suspecting South Carolina's going to need a new coach. I kind of think Mississippi State's going to need a new head coach, and that's for another episode. Who we think's going to get fired? A&M's going to need another head coach. I mean, you got it.
I don't think Jimbo's gone from A&M, bro.
Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll get into that.
Let's get into Texas A&M, Tennessee. Texas A&M, Tennessee.
We're Bama boys. We're Bama. What about the Auburn game? Let me shit on my team for a second.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's talk about. I give you War Eagle, baby. Let's hear your thoughts.
Let's hear John say War Eagle first.
You know, I'll say War Eagle just like anybody else, but they don't deserve my War Eagle until they can prove that offense. They don't deserve a War Eagle from Cowboy. They just don't.
They don't deserve a War Eagle from anybody. And let me rephrase that. Our defense is arguably one of the best in the SEC. The problem with the defense is the same problem that y'all were having yesterday. Our offense can't stay on the field, so the defense is getting gassed. I don't know if there's any hope for us reaching a bowl game this season. And if we do, it'll be like the Venture Expos Bowl in Montgomery or something like that. It's not going to be anything pretty. I'm a man of integrity. I said that Robbie Ashford should not be the quarterback. On our last podcast, I said we should start him. But, I mean, that was just a desperation. But he actually threw the ball and didn't overthrow every receiver by 5 yards. I think
there was
he's
a point
got
in
to
the
be the
game
starter.
where Robbie Ashford kind of had the offense going a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they put old other boy back in there. It's like that just seemed a little odd to me. Yeah, Auburn defense very, very good. This is another thing. Hugh Freeze is an offensive guy. So for the offense to be that bad, and granted, it's year one, I do think they will get better to see how's quarterback. But for them to be that bad, that says a lot. And for LSU to not be able to, let me say this, for Auburn's offense to not score against LSU's defense, LSU's offense, incredible. Their defense might be easily one of the worst in the SEC. They're right down there with Vandy. They're not good. So for Auburn to play this poorly on offense, That's tough.
Just don't have a quarterback, man. I mean, you know, Petit, he's a great running back. I think there's a lot of potential and all that, but I mean, it just boils down to no. And the thing that's frustrating is nobody knows who the quarterback is. Like it's one thing if you're bad, but it's one thing if you're bad and getting subbed out every 5 plays. Like I can't stand that. I know like yeah, people in retrospect, it's good to have a dual threat quarterback, but like pick one and stick with it because then you're only going to boost their confidence and they're going to play a
Yep.
lot better.
Yep.
So
I mean, you look at. Go ahead.
No, you go. I got a little bit of some stats to tell about Auburn football. It's
Yeah, yeah. So
you see the tunnel. I see the tunnel.
So you look at Jalen Milroe did not play good at all when he was still fighting for the job. I think he always had the job in the bag unless he just played god awful. And he was not great, but he was not terrible. But you've seen, granted, the second half this past game, he has gotten steadily better since he has truly earned the job. So to your point, yeah, if the guy's constantly fighting and you don't know who the real QB1 is, that you're not going to get the best performance out of the guys because they're out there, they're playing on edge the whole time. On to your stats, Mr. Cowboy. What you got?
So let me tell you, I think the horizon. I do expect Auburn to be active in the transfer portal when it comes to a quarterback next year. But let me give you some slimmer hope, J-Dub, and the rest of you Auburn fans listening. You do have a 4-star quarterback coming from Arkansas next year. He's going to be good. He's a 4-star. Not going to be bad. Let me tell you some hope, though. In 2008, Nick Saban's #1 recruit, his first kind of recruiting class, was a wide receiver from Foley High School named Julio Jones. Auburn's #1 recruit in Hugh Freeze' second year, same as Nick Saban's second year. Hugh Freeze, #1 recruit, second year. A wide receiver from Foley, Alabama, 5-star. He's like the #1 wide receiver. He's like in the top 5 wide receivers in the nation. I'm just saying, y'all are turning it in the right way. They flipped this 5-star from Foley, from Alabama to Auburn. I'm telling you, Hugh Freeze, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't think nobody was expecting a lot this year. It's still tough to see when you don't do good. Don't get me wrong. I understand that as a Braves fan and everything else. But Hugh Freeze, I wouldn't be shocked if he beat Bama this year. I'm saying it. The way Hugh Freeze is. I would not, I'm being honest. I would not be shocked. The way that Auburn defense is against Alabama's offense, especially in the second half, I could see that game being a 10-10 game. 10-17.
The only reason I'll agree with you on that is because it's in Auburn.
It's in Auburn. Well, I got it pulled up right here. I thought I had it pulled up. Give me a second. Let's pull up the rest of Auburn's schedule. Let's see if they can make a bowl game. What is Auburn's record right now? Auburn is
3-3.
Yeah.
3-3. All right. They're off. Oh, they play this week. They play Ole Miss at Auburn.
Stripe. What is the stripe out, John? They're just wear stripes.
They're good. No.
Is it like Yankee jerseys?
Yeah, everybody wears a Yankees jersey. No, it's one section's blue, the other one's orange.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's very hard to coordinate it. I think they like
tough.
leave shirts up under the seats or something.
They have to. I've always wondered that when like Penn State does it. Well, let me ask you, Ben. Penn State when they do the whiteout, is that what they do? Do they have T-shirts under the seats and stuff like that?
No, everybody. Well, that's like everybody's understood that they're going to be wearing white, so they.
Okay, that's what I was
wear
wondering.
white.
I've always wondered. You know, when you go to an NBA game, and everybody has the same red shirt on, and I've always wondered if that's like planned or is it kind of like an email the day before, like, hey, make sure you wear red, like it was in high school. Like, hey,
no, but like if you're striping the stadium, like like you know where you're sitting. I don't know if they tell you like beforehand, like, hey, your section's gonna be. Or I don't know.
I think on your ticket when you buy the ticket, it'll say orange section, blue section. I believe that's what Tennessee does. You know, they have their checkerboard games.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I know it's pretty cool. Y'all have y'all's this weekend, and also it's Florida Georgia this week.
That is always a hype game because there's always a fight in that game. It seems like
Florida Georgia
always.
next.
Yeah. So we got Ole Miss at
We'll be
Auburn.
at-
How do we? You gonna be at that game?
Going to the
Jacksonville.
world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Wow. Heads Up Play
Yes,
podcast is mobile, baby. It's mobile.
Yeah.
You gotta take some
We
videos
out
for the
there.
Instagram. We out there. There we go. We'll get you on
I'll
the
get
field.
some videos at the South game this Tuesday. I'll live stream the South game from the stands, baby. We can do it.
We'll have more people in the streams than at the game. And that's not a lot. That's not a lot. So you got Ole Miss, Auburn. I'm gonna go Ole Miss. Mississippi State, Auburn. Give me the Tigers. I like the.
That's a win.
So that's 4-4, right?
Would that be our first conference
Bowl.
win?
You got
Auburn's making a bowl. They play
Well,
Auburn
not
at
Vandy.
Vandy. They at Vandy. That's 5. Auburn
and then
at
New Mexico
Arkansas.
State. You got your cupcake.
Yeah, that's it. You have
6
to either
games.
be you either have to beat Mississippi State, Arkansas, or Bama. You're not gonna beat Ole Miss, I don't think, because
We're
it's
not
not
too
beating
long.
Ole Miss. But like I
Too
said, we're going to
long.
go to like the Montgomery Bowl. We're not going to
You're
go.
going to be in
yeah.
like the Poinsettia Bowl or
Oh,
something weird.
baby,
Yeah.
you playing in Birmingham. You playing in Birmingham. You
You
playing
are.
in Birmingham. You are going to. There ain't no Montgomery. You going to Birmingham, baby. You going to BM. Y'all going to Top Golf. Y'all
That's a
going to
little
Top
bit of.
Golf.
That's a talk.
You going to Top Golf, baby. You get some Beats headphones and a Top Golf trip.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So Texas A&M, Tennessee.
Oh, you know, let me speak to this game a little bit. Not much to the game itself because I didn't watch it. Texas A&M made a move in the offseason to get Bobby Petrino to up the offense. This offense is not good. They are okay.
Let's see.
But when you can't score more than 13 points against Tennessee's defense, nothing against Tennessee's defense, they're kind of middle of the road, but they're definitely a more offensive-driven team. When you can't score more than 13 points, something's got to change. I don't know if Jimbo's not giving the full reins to Bobby Petrino. That's what a lot of people like to say, that he likes to run the offense. We speculated in the offseason just how much are we going to let Bobby Petrino take over, but that offense is abysmal. And I know Connor Wegman's gone, but Max Johnson is a good quarterback.
He started at LSU forever. Like, I hate the people that go, he's a backup. He started at LSU. Let's pump the brake. He ain't like your Robbie Ashford who barely. He played at LSU when LSU just got off the national championship. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
And you know, I feel like there's this perpetual thing every year with A&M. They're always overhyped. Always overhyped. And they play a game like they did against Alabama, really close. Fans are super. Give them credit. That is a tough place to play. I would say probably second toughest place to play in the SEC, maybe third. You know, but when you're struggling to score points like that against Tennessee, something's got to change. Jimbo, I think, will be there. I know John JW said that he might stick around. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And Texas A&M got money, and they got money set aside to buy him. I think they're getting him. You know why? Because they hired him to be better than Kevin Sumlin. They want to win national championships. They've never really done that at A&M. That's not what they're known for. They are not Texas. They want to be better than Texas. Texas is getting better. Texas is good. Texas A&M is not.
All right.
Jimbo Fisher has roughly the same record that Kevin Sumlin was having.
Jimbo Fisher better be happy Oklahoma beat Texas. Because if Texas beat Oklahoma right now and Texas was undefeated, he might have been fired already. He might have been fired if
All right.
Texas was still undefeated.
Who are they going to get, though? That's the thing.
That's
Who
the
are they
thing.
going
They
to
can
get?
get anybody they want. They got Jimbo
Who?
from Florida State. I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest, if they got Dabo, to be honest.
That's
It all
not
comes
a
down-
better hire.
It's not, but
But let me-
and
let-
you're
let me-
probably right. You're probably right. Who are they going to get? But it's if you keep Jimbo, that is setting the standard of a
Low.
perpetual 8-4 season. So
I mean, I got the stats right here. First, he's fifth season. He's 9-4, 2018.
Hold
2019,
on,
season was horrible.
hold on. It's his 5th season? I thought it was his 3rd.
That's what I'm. It's his 5th season.
It feels like it.
Okay. Y'all might be right. I thought it was his 3rd season. I thought it was his 3rd.
It's one of those, like, okay, if not now, then when?
Okay. Yeah, I'm behind it now. But I still, who are they going to get? Because like you said, Arkansas, South Carolina, Florida, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. Those aren't small time gigs. Those are big schools.
They're going to get.
I'll tell you.
Some sunglasses. And
I was about to say the same thing. And
no,
we'll
he
talk
ain't
about that
leaving
game
Colorado.
next. If his sons
He
go
ain't
to the
leaving
NFL, if his sons go to the NFL, he's gone. If his sons go to the NFL, he's gone.
He raised his kids in Texas. He's from Florida. He's a Texas boy.
Play for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, he is a Texas boy. I don't know.
Texas A&M. Look, Alabama's got a lot of money. Ohio State's got a lot of money. Nobody got money like Texas and Texas A&M has. They will roll.
Yeah, but
out
he
the
ain't
red carpet
swag.
for him.
He ain't swag.
He ain't SEC either. He ACC or Big East or whatever they were back then.
I agree. I think Deion, I mean, money talks kind of thing. Like Texas A&M, and if he can get recruits to Colorado, it's one of the, why would you not want him at A&M? If he can get recruits at Colorado, what can he do at A&M?
All right, but what? I know it's his first year at Colorado, but what has he proven?
Not much now. After what happened on Friday.
I'm sorry, John. I know, John. I know you like him, John, and you're right. He is phenomenal at getting recruits, and it's his first season. But I don't think that A&M would roll out the red carpet for him after the way the season's going so far.
It's not even. I don't think you realize on how dead the Colorado football program. When I say dead, Colorado football, you got to realize, when was last? They won a national championship in the 90s.
1992, I believe. 91. 92 is Alabama.
They are a powerhouse. Like, they're supposed to be a power. They remind me of how Nebraska is now. Nebraska's that bad. They're going to get out of it with Matt Rule, but I'm telling you, Deion said to win 4 games. I want to look at. I don't think they've won 2 games in the last 3 seasons.
No, they haven't. Yeah, they won 111 last year, 111 the year before, I do believe, and maybe won 2 or 3 games the year before that. They have been god awful. Them and USF have been the worst teams in the FBS the past 2 or 3 years. And for what he's having a rebuild.
To win 4 games, I want to say the number. I might be wrong. He had 53 new players on the roster.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I want to touch a little bit more though about him and Texas A&M, because this is going to be talked about a lot. Because Jimbo Fisher, if he gets fired, that's going to be the number 1 name. Can you imagine Deion Sanders, the swag, the sunglasses, the chains at Texas A&M? I do think that they would go after him because they want to win. But they want to win, weird, that's a culty school. It's the military stuff going on. They got the yell. It's very white person cringy stuff going on there at Texas A&M. And to have Deion Sanders and bring all that stuff, I don't know how well it would mix.
It wouldn't.
Go after.
Well, A&M's going to fire Fisher. I'm Mike Elko's who they might go after. A&M's going to lose 2 more games. They play Ole Miss at Ole Miss, and then play LSU at LSU. They're going to lose those 2 games. That's a guarantee.
LSU is. You said it's at LSU.
At LSU.
Some weird stuff happens there. You remember that one game they had and went into like 7 overtimes, and it was like 72-69 or something like that.
Was that 21?
I'm gonna tell you, I think LSU. I think they have probably one of, if not the best, one of the best. I think Jaden Daniels, if he was on another team and playing the way he is, he'd be in the Heisman race, in my opinion. But
absolutely.
No, to your point, I think A&M's going. If I'm A&M, I don't know why I wouldn't want to enroll it to Deion or Mike Elko. But Mike Elko is one of those. Okay, you're doing something at Duke. That's awesome. Like, nobody's taking that away from you. But I don't know if I'm ready to give you that Texas A&M money. You got to go somewhere else and prove to me.
But that's kind of how I feel about Deion, man. Like, he's hopped around schools the last 2 years.
But he can recruit. Like,
he
I don't know.
He can recruit. I don't disagree with that, dude. I don't. But
Because
like,
if I'm Deion,
I can let the USC and the Oregon loss slide, but the Stanford loss that's
that was
embarrassing.
bad. No, that was bad. Well, the quote he had, I loved it. I mean, I've never loved a quote. What was it at? It's just the way he is, and that's what I like about Deion is the swagger. He said, "What I see is a bunch of guys who are in like with the. I see a bunch of guys who are in like what the game is. You're not in love with the game because when you're in love with something, you got to give it everything you got." And he's right. I feel like I think there was a report his son Shadur posted something halftime on like his Instagram story for like his own like shop or something like that for his own personal merch and stuff like that. You got to stop with that stuff. I mean, Deion Sanders, I will say it, at any athlete, I'd take him in any sport. I've never seen anyone with so much swagger and just love for the game and their sport than him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got to play the game, and that's Colorado. I think is getting a little bit too much
Almost
attention.
fell through my window.
Uh-oh. A little bit too much attention, and it's rubbing off on the players. Look at us! Look what we're doing. His oldest son runs that YouTube page that gets a ton of views. And he
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's on Bleacher Report. He has his own little podcast on Bleacher Report.
Yeah, he streams on like Twitch and stuff. Yeah, they have a lot.
He ain't heads up play though.
He can come on heads up. Hey, Travis Hunter, if you want to come up to heads up play, just come on, man. So if I'm Deion
like
Sanders,
when you're walking out with like Lil Wayne to one of your like, that's too much, man. That's too much. It's college football.
I ain't gonna lie though. Like, is that not like a perfect recruiting? Like, I think that's cool.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, but that don't work at A&M.
At the end of the day, that's too much of a distraction, and it's rubbing off on the players during the game. Like,
I agree.
You can get the players, just like Texas A&M. Jimbo had the #1 recruiting class 2 years ago, and he's a perpetual 8-4 coach. So, yeah, you can get the players, but we're currently sitting at a 4-3 record right now. If you're that is fantastic compared to where you were a year ago, 2 years ago. But when you're losing to Stanford, when you were up 29-0 at
halftime,
you got to think there was some complacency there. Just let the game go.
He needs an offensive
receiver for Stanford. Give the dude credit because I don't know if y'all watched it or watching the highlights. That dude was down Travis Hunter. Made Travis Hunter look like his little pal.
And let me ask y'all: does it feel like it should be illegal to have an out west game on as late as that one was?
A little bit, yeah.
There's no other college football games yet.
Yeah. Like, come on, like,
Sam took the words out of my mouth.
I don't want to watch Memphis versus Tulane. I want to watch Colorado. Like, it's not even because it's Deion. It's actual Power 5 football. Like, I want to watch Power 5 football. I don't want to watch Memphis.
No, you be honest. You love Deion. You love Deion. My name's John Rivers, and I love Deion Sanders.
I like Deion. I got Deion Sanders jersey in my closet right now. I'll put it on for you. If I'm Deion Sanders and I get the Texas A&M job, there's one name I want for my offensive coordinator. He's working for
Shohei
ESPN.
Ohtani.
He can't pitch. I'll tell you who I'm getting, and he's a TV analyst right now for ESPN. Dan Mullen. That's who I'm going after if I need an offensive coordinator.
I feel like Dan Mullen would be someone. From what I've heard, he really likes the analyst thing.
Well, let me ask you.
This is great.
If Mississippi State fires Zach Arnett, could you see Dan Mullen going back to Mississippi State if they want him back?
I could see Dan Mullen going back to Florida before State.
I don't. Florida, no. I don't think I could say. I don't see him going back
I feel
to Florida.
Like there was something going on with him in Florida because for them to have fired him the way that they did after coming off an SEC championship game just the year before, they were looking for a reason to fire him. It wasn't the performance on the field, and we know Dan Mullen is kind of I guess apparently
he's a hot shot. Yeah,
he's the greatest coach in the history of Mississippi State. I think you would reach out to him immediately.
Him and what's that boy's name from Sylvester Croom? Like those are the two best I can think from.
Mm-hmm.
So now, talking about Florida, what's up?
I was gonna say, just touching on this again, like when Auburn re-signed Gus Malzahn back in 2019 or whenever that was. you had like 6 or 7 head coaching positions open in the SEC alone, right? We're gonna have that same thing again this year, but there's just it's one of those things where it's like you can like Auburn made the best decision at the time. I still don't think that Gus Malzahn gets enough credit for what he did. I think he was a pretty good coach. I mean, he obviously isn't Nick Saban, but we made the best decision that we could at the time. And I do think that A&M might view this year as one of those things where they're looking at all the options open. And, you know, because like I said, Florida, that's a pretty big name. I mean, all the SEC schools except for Vanderbilt and Missouri, those are going to be big name teams. Are you okay?
I'm fine. My light is falling on me
Okay.
because it's the blasphemy when you say it was a good decision to fire Gus Malzahn like they did at the time. I think
No,
they
I said it
fumbled
was
that.
I said it was a good decision to re-sign him when we did.
Oh, I thought you meant they fire him at that time. I was ready. I was getting my stats ready. I was like, I don't know about that one.
No, when we re-signed him that year, there was like 7 head coaching positions open, and Arkansas was one of them, and he's from Arkansas. And that's leading me into my next point. Does Arkansas get rid of Sam Pittman and go after Gus Malzahn? Because that's probably better than Pittman.
I'm not talking about that, but he's not doing so hot in his first year in the Big 12. Granted, it's with a group of 5 players, but that's that might be an end that they go after.
I'll tell you another name they might go after. Give him his 3rd roundabout in the SEC. Nobody really talks about, but the Georgia defensive coordinator, the legend himself. Give me Will Muschamp.
I don't know. I think he's a pretty good coordinator. He may fit in a place like Arkansas.
Let's say for a place like Arkansas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the man that coached both South Carolina and Florida. They played this week. Florida, South Carolina. Florida 5-2 now, beating South Carolina 41-39. Graham Mertz. I think Shane Beamer is getting fired this year. I like Shane Beamer, but you let Graham Mertz at your house throw for 423 yards. Man looked like Tim Tebow out there. He looked like he was just killing South Carolina. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah, really back and forth game, and it just came down to defense. To your point, you like Graham Mertz. Everybody was like, this is the quarterback. You know, everybody kind of made fun of Alabama's quarterback situation for Florida. Not much better. To let him do what he did, I do agree. South Carolina sitting at 2-4 right now. You know, they may change their expectations a little bit with the downfall of Clemson. I think if Beamer had not beaten Clemson last season, he probably would be sitting on the highest seat in college football. You're right. We believe that he will. He will.
I don't
know if he'll get fired this year because he's still pretty early. But the seat is won.
What saved him last year was beating Tennessee. That's what saved him last year too. But let me ask you, what happened with? And I remember when he came out at Oklahoma, he was like, he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. He's a stud. Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is, I mean, he's done better at South Carolina than he did at Oklahoma. I'll give him credit because he don't have that national media on him like he did at Oklahoma. Because, I mean, they basically, he reminds me, and I'm going to use Auburn as an example, Jeremy Johnson.
Carver represent 334, baby. Let's go.
Jeremy Johnson they gave him the Heisman. They was like, here, season hasn't started. You're gonna win the Heisman. Like this is. I mean, never started.
No. He came in for 1 game, and he looked like the reincarnation of Cam Newton. That 1 game, he did.
They
great.
gave him the trophy. Yeah. Like they were ready to hand it to him.
And I can confirm from the grapevine in Montgomery that apparently the pressure did get to him. Like he admitted that.
Well, no shit.
What was that game where he had that like bad snap or fumble or something, and he went like 50 yards behind him or something? He was a one and done really quick. easily the biggest bust that I can
Yeah.
draw. But
I
yeah, I'm
mean,
going back to Spencer Rattler. I do think he is a middle of the road SEC quarterback. I don't think he's terrible. He's not NFL worthy. He was the number one quarterback in his class, a good bit if I remember correctly, and he is not up to it. He did have the
it,
great game against Tennessee. One, two, three, four touchdowns or whatever, which
yeah.
I thought was great. But not he's just
Well,
still
that's what I like about the portal, though. The portal can help these. For instance, I'll give you another example. DJ Ugalaway. You know who I'm talking about? The dude from Clemson.
really young.
He's, yeah. Sweaty boy had to go wipe the sweat off. I don't know. The takes so hard to make you sweat.
Sorry,
But no, DJ. I mean, you think about he's got Oregon
he's
State
solid.
in the. I mean, those two, they have revitalized their career. I mean, when they both were at Clemson, Oklahoma, I think they let the pressure get to them because they're on these big platforms. And, they lose 2 games. At other schools, that's not bad. But at Clemson and Oklahoma, that's a huge deal. Huge deal. But you do that at Oregon State and South Carolina, damn, that's a pretty good year.
Well, hey, switching conferences, I got this one wrong. How about that Notre Dame game?
I'm so glad USC got exposed. Lincoln Riley, I've never understood it. He is possibly, if not one of the smartest offensive-minded coach in football history. But my God, his defenses are atrocious.
It is a give and take with Lincoln Riley. And this solidifies my thoughts. As soon as it was announced, Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC, he got scared. USC offered him a job. They don't play defense in the Pac-12. He ran, and he played really good. Put him up against Tulane. And you lose to Tulane, the Cotton Bowl. This is a consistent thing with Lincoln Riley now. But to your point, fantastic offenses, impeccable play calling, probably better than Steve Sarkisian, if I'm being honest. Fantastic play calling on offense. But, dude, you need a defense. I mean, you like Colorado, and they're horrific defense.
Put up 40 on you. Put up 40.
You let Colorado come back on you. And Colorado's got a fair offense, don't get me wrong. This is a consistent thing with Lincoln Riley, and something needs to change. Because I don't know if it's a change of coordinator or what, but it's embarrassing.
Will Muschamp. What if Will Muschamp went to USC?
Muschamp ain't leaving. He ain't leaving Kirby.
No, he's not. Kirby, what if? Could you imagine if he did? Because give Muschamp his flowers. He's good at defense, but
It's one of those. I don't know how much of that is him or Kirby, but back to US. Notre Dame has. I've said this all season. This is the only year I've actually believed in Notre Dame, and they've let me down.
Have.
And I'm glad this game, Marcus Freeman needed this win. He needed this win bad this year.
Well,
I don't disagree.
USC, they were just flat out outplayed. Especially, I mean, Caleb Williams had 3 picks.
He might have lost his Heisman, to be honest, this year for that.
No, I think so. Because Notre Dame, you're supposed to win that game. It just goes back. As soon as you play a real defense outside of the Pac-12, you stumble.
And that's why I'm shocked. Lincoln Riley, it kind of puts in perspective how good that Oklahoma 2018 team was that made it to the playoff. Like, how did a Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma team with no defense make it into the playoff? Blows my mind. Because they always choke. It is a guaranteed Lincoln Riley's team will lose at least one game. And it's a game you never know when it's going to come.
No, you're right.
Sam Hartman's a good quarterback for Notre Dame. That was I think he's been the best quarterback one of the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal. I think he's been amazing.
Is that guy?
Transfer portal, he definitely is the best. But
Is he
I don't
not
know,
also
man.
just beautiful? That
He
dude
is
is
beautiful.
handsome.
He's a good looking dude. He's a
He's got the flow going, like the perfect jawline and beard. That's a good fucking dude.
well.
No
Let's talk about
homo, crap.
who Caleb Williams lost the Heisman to. He lost it to Michael Penix, Washington, Oregon. I'm gonna tell you,
Big Phoenix energy.
I think whoever would have won that game is gonna win the Heisman. Bo Nix had it, if not better. He
You
had
shut
a
your
pretty,
mouth right now, John. You shut your mouth. We're never going to give him that much credit. He doesn't deserve it. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, y'all love
Nobody said we have to be honest in this podcast.
Bo Nix. I mean, he looks like he's in the right system. I mean, it's kind of promising. You put him in with an NFL team with a good system like the 49ers. I'm not saying they're going to get a quarterback, but you put him in a good system, I can see Bo Nix succeeding. But Michael Penix, oh my gosh, that dude can throw. He's
he's incredible.
It's not that he puts it in a place that you never would think anybody could be able to put it there.
They were leading that game, third quarter going into the fourth, I believe. Oregon, I turned it off and watched them. Turned it back on. Oregon had the lead, like 33 to I think 28 or something like that. I turned it back off and they turned it back on. Washington's won. Total back and forth game. I've been saying for a while, I think Washington is one of the best teams in college football. This solidifies it. Also, that crowd was electric. I love their stadium. I think Washington's got a real chance. With the downfall of USC now, you've beaten Oregon. Utah's fallen to Oregon State. Washington's in the driver's seat to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, they're in control of their own destiny. Honestly, they are. And like John said, they probably have the front runner for the Heisman right now. Now that leads into the next point, since we're on the subject of it. Who are y'all's 4 teams in?
Before we get into the playoff, I want to ask us, was it just me, or is game? And I know it was early over there. I thought that was the worst decision. I get it, 7 versus 8. Do not have game day in Washington State when it's 8 in the morning. I thought my TV was broke. I thought they muted the crowd. It was so no, nobody was cheering. That was the quietest college game day I've ever been to in my life.
No, there was a ton of people there. That was
Ton of people.
That was like the most people like so far in college. I do think it was a little quiet. But
Did y'all see?
Go ahead.
Did y'all see Julio Rodriguez was at the game?
I did not see that. He's been well. Look, else to go.
Yeah,
I watched the highlights. Cowboy was at the 50th annual Shrimp Festival. Let me tell you guys what I tried this weekend. You ever had those the dry freeze candy where they poof up?
I have not had those, but I've been wanting to try them.
Ooh, I had sour Skittles. Boy, let me tell you what.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh. So it's candy. You can like Jolly Rancher or Skittle or something. Stick it in a freeze dryer for a while, and it takes all the moisture, the juices out, puffs them up. And so it's basically see like this crunchy, puffy candy.
Yeah, that's all it was. I had sour Skittles and like some sort of like a blueberry Skittles. Pretty dang good. I can see the hype. But let's go back to who we think is going to be the top 4. And you know what? Let's add a little bit of spice. Who's going to be the 2 teams left out?
All right,
that's going to be the big question.
Start it off, Sam. Sorry. Start it off, Judge. Your honor.
In no particular order, no ranking. I'll give you, as I just said, I believe Washington will end up in there.
Agreed.
I don't think that they have the firepower to compete in the end with a Big Ten or an ACC caliber playoff team. We'll wait and see, but I do think that they will probably be in there. It's probably a 3 or a 4 seed. Washington, Michigan, I think, has the easiest path in the Big Ten. But we got a big game this weekend. Ohio State and Penn State.
That's a team you don't need to forget about. Penn State, they got a tough road. They got to go Ohio State and Michigan, but still tough.
We seem to forget about Penn State every year. And then there's always the big moment against Penn State, then they kind of fail. This is a big game. I think this will be the test for who will compete with Michigan in the Big Ten. Right now, I think the representative of the Big Ten is Michigan. But if Penn State can beat Ohio State, and then Ohio State to beat Michigan, I think that's an easy shot for Penn State to be in there. So but right now, give me Washington, Michigan. And then the SEC is so tough right now. I don't think that Georgia has that hard of a path. I think that they will beat Tennessee. That's going to be their hardest test all season. If they beat Tennessee, they're because as much faith as I have in Alabama, I just don't really see them beating Georgia right now. So yeah, Washington, Michigan, Georgia, and then I'll throw Florida State in there because I don't think that they have that tough of a shot in the ACC.
They're just like Georgia.
Yeah, and then the outliers. I don't think Oregon's losing another game. I think that they will miss it, and probably in Alabama, maybe at Texas, Oklahoma. It's really tough to come up with 4 teams right now. This really needed to be a year that 12-team playoff started because that would be incredible.
I got Florida State. I don't know if I got them at number 1, the 1 seed or not, but I got Florida State pretty high up there because, like you just said, they got an easy schedule and they look like a good team. Then I got Alabama. I really do think that since Georgia hasn't played anybody, their first big game is probably going to be most likely going to be against Alabama in the SEC championship, and I don't think they're ready for that smoke. And then Michigan, this is a toss-up because, like you just said, you got Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State in this little love triangle right now, and they all got to play each other. I was telling everybody last night, I was like, the odds of there being multiple undefeated teams this year is very low. Lower than it's ever been. I think that the only undefeated team at the end of the season is probably going to be Florida State. But I do think that Michigan is going to pull out of that. And then my number 4, I would even throw in another Big 12 team. I would probably go Ohio State. And my 2 outliers would be Georgia and Oregon.
I see that. So let me ask you. Well, you know what, Cowboy, you go next. To that Big 10 point before you go. To that 10.
Yeah,
Big
I meant to say
point.
10, not 12. That was my bad.
Yeah, I know you did. But to that point, that's going to be tough because if one of those teams, one. What if they all beat each other? It ends up being a triangle. They all end up with 1 losses. That's going to be tough for a team like Alabama who has 1 loss and but hasn't beaten anybody really good to get in, despite having lost Texas really early in the season.
And that's why I said 2 Big 10 teams and then a SEC and Florida State because I think that because most likely Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, their only losses are going to be to. If they only have 1 loss, it'll be to one of those. It won't be anybody else, and that's a quality loss. So I mean, it's kind of hard not to like. I know the Pac-12 is probably the most dominant conference this year, but if you look at Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, I'm pretty certain they would beat USC, Oregon, and Washington.
All right, Cowboy. I'll ask my other question after you go, because you may answer it.
So my obvious pick, I want to go Washington. I think they've kind of got. Do they play USC? I'm sure they do.
Get it pulled out. Washington football.
They
schedule,
do. No,
they do.
No, at USC, at USA, November 4th. I want to go. Right now, I'm going Washington. I think Georgia plays Bama. If Bama can beat Tennessee, I think they'll win out. I don't think Bama can beat Georgia. I think Bama's going to limp their way into the SEC championship. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game until about the fourth quarter, and then I think our defense is just going to get tired and they're going to gas us. I'm going to go Georgia. I'm going to give you an interesting one. I'm going to give you Ohio State.
I like it.
I think Penn State's going to beat Ohio State. I think Michigan is going to beat Penn State. Wait a minute. My bad. I think Penn State's going to beat Ohio State, and I think Michigan's.
Michigan.
Yep. That's
Michigan beat
you can never
State.
expect that. Yes. You can never expecting when it comes to college football, especially especially those last few weeks. That's when chaos happens. And I'm gonna give you another one. Right now, I'm saying Florida State, but let me give you another team I think that might sneak into the four. I want to give you North Carolina.
Ooh.
Ooh, a dark horse.
If North Carolina
beat
can win,
Florida State. Yeah.
they're 6-0. They're 6. I'm gonna look up see if they
Yeah.
play.
They're a very quiet 6-0. If they play Florida State and can beat Florida State, I think
They
you have
don't
to give
play.
them
They
their
don't
chance.
play Florida State. They play Florida
They'd have
State
to play
probably
in the
in the
championship.
championship. I think, and I don't think Florida State's that. I'm not gonna say that I don't think they're that good. I think Florida State. You see what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think they're as good as when they beat LSU.
I
At the
agree.
beginning of the season,
That's-
we thought, oh my gosh, Florida State, where did they come from? I do still think that they're very good and they can win out, but I think you're right. I don't think that they're quite as good as what.
So
we
this is
thought
North
they were.
Carolina's remaining record. It is our schedule. It's Virginia at North Carolina, North Carolina at Georgia Tech, Campbell at North Carolina, Duke at North Carolina at Clemson, North Carolina at North Carolina State.
Hey,
I think they
NC
can
State. NC State is not an easy one though. That's always they're always a nitpicky team.
Duke's where do they play Duke?
At home against
At home.
yeah. I think their tough game is going to be North Carolina State's 4-3 this year. I think their tough game is going to be at Clemson. That's always tough.
So here's my question that I was waiting for because nobody mentioned either one of them in their top four.
Texas.
Texas and Oklahoma now has
See, I have
the
Oklahoma
best win of the
as.
season.
I agree. I think Oklahoma is. I think Texas has the best loss, and I think Oklahoma has the best win of the season. I think Oklahoma's my.
Yeah.
Let me look up. I mean, somebody's got to lose 2 games. I just don't see Oklahoma. Let me look up their schedule.
Here's my thing now with Texas. Now that they've lost a game, I just don't know if they're going to continue to have that moxie about them. Now they may prove me wrong, and they may go and win out, and we do see these two together. This is what's going to be really tough. Imagine this playoff scenario. Imagine the triangle in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Penn State beats Ohio State. Ohio State beats Michigan. Michigan beats Penn State, and they all end up with one loss. And then Texas plays Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship and beats them. And then you also have an Alabama with one loss. If they beat Georgia, that's going to be. And then you have a couple
Hey,
undefeated
Sam,
teams.
let me add another thing to you. If Washington and Oregon meet in the Pac-12 championship and Oregon beats them,
I don't think they would play each other. I think they're both in the northern.
no, I
division
don't think
there.
they're not divided anymore.
Are they not? Oh, they just go by record.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Oh.
tell you, my other possibly Oklahoma can sneak in the 4 if Washington loses the USC. Oklahoma's schedule is this: it's UCF at Oklahoma, Oklahoma at Kansas, Oklahoma at Oklahoma State, West Virginia at Oklahoma, Oklahoma at BYU, and TCU at Oklahoma. They could easily win out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. And I think Brent Venables would 100% be coach of the year. We
Has to be.
dogged him last year, and he has turned that thing around big time. He has utilized the transfer portal really well. That quarterback is legit.
No, you're right. I think we're about to finally start getting into. We've kind of figured out who's frauds and who's not good. I mean, you had Louisville beat Notre Dame. Everybody, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was like Louisville might be a dark horse, and then I think that they lost to Pitt, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm just telling you, if Bama does beat Georgia and then Bama gets to the final, I mean, Georgia's got to be in. It's got to be two SEC teams. There's no way we're beating Georgia 2 times in a row. That's just
Well,
what
hey,
happened.
hey, somebody else though. What about Oregon State?
I don't think they'll win
they
out.
that's a tough one. Oregon State struggles with the fact that they're Oregon State,
State,
and
that's the thing.
yeah, I think even if there's 5 undefeated teams, Oregon State's going to be the one left out simply because of the name.
I'll tell you a team that I think that might make a push for like, well, we're a 2-loss team and our wins, LSU. If they
Yeah.
can beat Alabama and they can beat LSU, I can see them being the 2-loss team this year. Being, well, we beat Bama, we beat Auburn. I mean, they beat, you know what I mean? They barely lost to Florida State, like. Because you think
Yeah,
about it, their
it's
losses are like kind of like Bama was last year. Their losses, I think they only lost to Florida State by like 1 or 2 points, and then Ole Miss by only like 3.
well. Now that we're kind of on this conversation, this is easily, I think, and it seems like we have this conversation every single year. This is the best year of college football in a long time. So many teams, so many teams. This year is different. This is just a odd year in college football. What explains it? Is it the transfer portal? Is it NIL? Is it just one of those years? Do you have a take as to why we're like this right now? I think the transfer portal and the NIL have probably changed the game a good bit. But I really don't know. I
I'm
just
gonna
don't
go.
know.
I'm gonna go transfer portal. Let me tell you why. I feel like you. I mean, growing up. I mean, I grew up watching college football in the 2010s. I know that's not saying much. I grew up in 2000s, 2010s. You know, you had your Cam Newtons, the Johnny Mins. I felt we don't have that player that's just. I mean, yeah, we had Bryce Young, we have Caleb, but it's just not taking the
We
nation
haven't
by storm.
we haven't had that player since Joe Burrow. It
Yeah,
hasn't. There
yeah, you're
hasn't
right.
been one.
I mean, we had
But
Lamar Jackson. You have Tim Tebow. You had, I mean, those players. And Joe, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think Joe Burrow, he did pretty, but I mean, he's not. I mean, you think we had Tebow that was on high level status. You had Cam Newton that was on high level status. You had Johnny Manziel that was hanging out with Drake and LeBron. Like you had back to back to back athletes hanging out with big name people. Like not even just in the sports world. And I just feel like we have not touched that in so long. I just don't understand. I mean, we had Henry. I mean, you had
Shadur
really,
Sanders was hanging out with Lil Wayne and Tom Brady.
Deion Sanders look, he's a good quarterback. He's good for Colorado.
I don't know though. Let me tell you. You know he leads the NCAA Division I in passing yards.
Yeah,
I
because
did.
they're not running the ball. And the dude, have y'all seen the conspiracy with him and him, taking sacks?
No.
So there's a conspiracy that he
Hey,
purposely
guys.
takes sacks.
Guys, 1 second. I gotta go grab my laptop charger.
Go grab that thing.
Okay.
I'll continue
Will
this
y'all watch
conversation with
Aubrey for me?
Cowboy.
Will y'all watch
Yeah.
Aubrey for me?
Go.
Aubrey's his cat. Aubrey's his cat. Everybody.
She's on the couch. You have to find her. Good luck.
I forgot where I was. Dang it, John. Where's I at?
About the conspiracy theory about Shadur Sanders.
Oh, so there's a theory that he purposefully takes sacks when he's getting pressure so that he continues to have a high completion percentage instead of throwing the ball away. And when you watch him, it makes a little bit of sense.
He don't throw the ball away. Yeah, but
No.
do we
But,
have baseball? Do we have baseball tonight?
I got Rangers, Astros.
Well, when he gets back, let's get our quick predictions. Oh, since they just became official, there is no more undefeated teams in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles have been defeated by the New York Jets. Zach Wilson banging moms and banging the Eagles fans' hearts. And you had the
Oh, my
49ers lose to the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson was not playing in the game today. Deshaun Watson, probably had a massage parlor. Deshaun Watson.
He was getting a happy ending.
It's just,
A win and the end of the
I don't know if you saw the Dirty Birds choked again. Desmond Ritter. He's like a roller coaster. Now, I will say the best uniforms in the NFL history was worn today. And did you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers creamsicle jerseys?
I did, and they were sick. They were
Those are,
sick.
in my opinion, in all of sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, that is the coolest jersey. The helmets match well. I mean, that is the coolest jersey in sports.
Um, Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphins kind of destroy the Panthers a little bit. Poor Bryce Young. Poor
Bryce
Bryce Young.
Young's, and he's
Oh, it's
just,
six, man.
it's one of those. I am not a big believer in, okay, like you know you're not going to be good. Why throw in your rookie quarterback? You're hurt. He's getting hurt. He got hurt with his ankle. He's ruining confidence. I don't know why else bring him in. You had that. You had the Jaguars, the Colts. Did you hear about Anthony Richardson? He might be out for season now with a shoulder injury.
Really? I did
AR-15.
not hear this.
Yes. He plays too much of that hero ball. You know, why
Yep.
throw it out when you can rush for 2 yards and get
Yep.
possibly injured like he did? I mean, he only played, I think, 4 games this year, and I want to say out of the 4, 2 of them he had to leave with injury. You got that happen. It was a better game for Mac Jones. It wasn't too much better. Threw for 200 yards and only 1 interception, but it was the better game for Mac Jones. But
Who did Patriots play?
they played the Raiders today.
The Raiders.
It was okay, you know. But the big highlight of
In Vegas.
in Vegas, the big highlight of the day was the Bengals. The Bengals are hot right now. Burrow's looking a little bit better. He's almost, you know, he had a bad, I think, hip injury. He needs to almost just sit out because he's one of those. He wants to be the hero, so he's out there playing. He's doing the team more hurt than good. Well, since John's back, let's get our predictions and quick predictions. I am not going to watch it because that's still too freshly wounds. The LCS, NLCS is coming on tomorrow tonight. We have the ALCS is actually about to tip off. It's 7:15.
Yeah. Tip off. I love it.
Basketball.
Woo! There is basketball tonight. The new duo, Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Stop. Too
Somebody
much.
try to spell that. Spell it.
Too much.
Spell Antetokounmpo.
I don't know. I'm turning on the Astros game though.
Gumbo.
I'm not watching.
My thoughts. You know, I think Rangers got it.
I think the Rangers got it.
Fine. Rangers are fine. This game is in Houston, I believe, because they did win the division.
It's in Houston, correct?
So that would be tough. This will be an interesting series, the 2 Texas teams. I don't think this
The
is before.
pitchers tonight is Jordan Montgomery and Justin Verlander.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. I do think the Astros might take game 1, which is, I think, aside from an elimination game or a game 7, game 1 is the most important game of the series, postseason series in baseball. But I think the Rangers are just a little too hot right now, but they also struggle big time with the Astros. They just can't seem to beat those guys.
They can't.
There's just something about them.
I was just about to say, man.
And then starting tomorrow, that one.
You got Miro Kelly versus Aaron Nola.
Man, the pitching matchup definitely favors the Phillies,
The Phillies.
for sure. It's in Philadelphia. I don't really see Philly losing a game in Philadelphia, but they did get no hit in their own stadium last season in the World Series, so it's definitely possible. And the Diamondbacks are hungry. Diamondbacks super hungry. Corbin Carroll coming with that heat. So I think this is going. I think it's going to come down to a game 7. This is going to go 6 or 7, and it will be probably one in Philadelphia. Probably by the Phillies, if I'm being real. I think this is going to be each home team is going to win every single game in the series. Phillies are going to win every game in Philly. Diamondbacks are going to win every game in Phoenix. And it's going to come down to Philadelphia. I think it's probably going to be the Phillies. I'll be pulling for the Snakes.
I got.
Snake.
All right, so you mentioned the Phillies getting no hit last year, and they were hotter than the Rangers are right now.
Oh yeah.
And the team that did that is none other than the Houston Astros.
Mhm.
And the Houston Astros have absolutely owned the Rangers this season, statistically, in every category. I get the Rangers are hot, but if any team is capable of putting out a fire, it's the Astros, and I'm not betting against them. And in the NL, I think that the Diamondbacks are too hot, man. I think the Phillies got a little cocky beating the Braves, who kind of
I think you're
just didn't
right.
show up. I think the Diamondbacks are going to take it. I really do. I mean, because they came out swinging, dude, against the
Yeah.
Dodgers. And I know Clayton Kershaw has that history of choking in the playoffs, but I don't know, man. That team is more electric than I would say probably the Rangers are.
If the Diamondbacks can do to the Phillies what the Braves failed to do, and that's come out, smack them in the mouth in the first inning, like they did to the Dodgers, they got a real shot. They really do. Um, but I just don't know. But the Phillies, that crowd, I don't say this for many teams. That's like the one crowd in all sports that really does make a truly a big difference. Crowds can make a slight difference. They truly make a big difference. But I just don't know if Arizona's ready for that.
I'm gonna go Texas Astros. I said in our pilot episode, and I've mentioned it before, I'm still gonna go with I got Texas in 6. Then I got Phillies in 5.
Like
I
Five.
think
Now,
Okay.
I think the Phillies are too hot right now. I'm not discrediting the Diamondbacks. I think the Phillies are way hot right. I think the Phillies are. I've been saying whoever wins the Philly Braves are going to go to the World Series.
You did say
I
that,
think
but I do think that the Phillies are catching a little bit of that hype, and they're getting a little overplayed and getting a little too confident. I think they're not.
I
I
do
don't.
think they are getting a little, not a little, they're getting far too cocky. I mean, and it's kind of working out for them, which is what pisses me off the most.
that's the thing.
It's like, somebody shut the up.
It reminds me of us in 21. We've all the Braves nation, and if your team has won a World Series, listeners, you know when you're watching it, it's just like that magic to them. That is, it's kind of like when
Yeah,
you're on
but
that net.
they're on a different level of cockiness. They're straight up middle
It's not
finger to
even
you.
not
Come and
not
beat us. You can't do it.
not even cocky. I look at it more as magic, kind of like we'll use Auburn example. You know when Ricardo Lewis he got that ball against Jordan. That's just is just that magic feeling. It's like
John
you
Reeves, have you
you
seen
know.
videos of them busting
Oh, I
the
know.
Braves in the celebrations?
Oh,
They
I know.
they they are
They're cocky, dude. They're cocky.
they straight up did Dixieland Delight, which is for the Phillies team to know what Dixieland Delight is shocks me. And they kind of did it wrong a little bit.
They
Not just in the
did.
lyrics, but the way that they did it.
The order it was Bravos, whoever we're playing next, and of the Mets.
Yeah. So if the Diamondbacks can hear F whoever we're playing next, take that and run with it,
The
Phillies
Dim-
made a big mistake, dude.
the Diamondbacks are what the Phillies were last year right now. I think the most magical team is the Diamondbacks, and I think the second one is the Rangers. I don't think the Phillies are playing off of magic. I truly think the Braves played like complete shit in that series, and that's the reason we lost. I give the Phillies credit. They pitched great. But if you look at it, other than Game 3, their offense was really not that hot for what they claimed to be. But if you look at the way the Diamondbacks pitched, the way they were hitting the ball, I don't care who's on the mound. If you're getting a hit like that against the Dodgers and you are by far the biggest underdog in all the playoffs, they're doing what the Braves did in 21. But I'll say
I'm not.
this. Whatever team comes out of the American League is going to win the World Series.
I'm on the Phillies because I know it's gonna sound crazy. I don't want the Phillies to win it, but then again I do because I look at it as okay, we lost to the World Series champs, kind of thing. Like
Yeah, but would that not solidify the Braves and Phillies and probably the biggest rivalry Small. I think it
I
has
feel
to
like
be with the way that the
it
Phillies.
has it's
They
different
stand on
every
one
year.
side.
It's different every year. I feel like sometimes it's the Mets and the Braves, and then you know what I'm saying. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Well,
not discrediting the Diamondbacks. I get it. They beat the Dodgers. Dodgers. I mean, I don't think the Dodgers are the Dodgers no more. Yeah, they win 100 games every
No.
year, but I mean, besides the first game, they only put up 4 runs each time against the Dodgers for a Dodgers team that had no pitching. I mean, they were depleted. They're pitching a bullpen game in game 2, and they was resting for 5 days.
I mean,
I
how many
think
runs?
the Diamondbacks are hot. But I just like this Phillies team. This lineup.
I think you're letting a little bit of that doomer mentality take over, and you just are set on the
See, I
Phillies
think
like
you
doing
got the.
good.
I think you got the Braves heart. That you like. I think the Phillies are going to lose because I don't want them to see them win. No, I want the Phillies to win because hell, that makes me feel better. Okay, well, we lost to the Chance. Can't help that. It wasn't
I
in our
don't want them
cards.
to win. You're absolutely right. I don't want them to win, but
I
I
just
do think whatever team comes out of the American League is going to wrap it up pretty quick.
I think if the Phillies
okay,
make
let's play some scenarios. Okay, Phillies versus Astros rematch. Who wins?
Phillies.
You think Phil? I think Philly takes it. I think that they want. I think that they come out with revenge. That's what they want. Revenge. Okay. Diamondbacks, Astros.
Astros.
Yeah, I think that comes down to just playoff experience. I think Astros win that. Diamondbacks, Rangers. I think the Diamondbacks got.
Rangers.
I think the Diamondbacks got the Rangers. Rangers, Phillies. I think Rangers
Phillies.
have that one.
Rangers.
I think the
This is-
Phillies
this-
want it. The Phillies want it.
Oh,
Like,
they definitely won it after losing in the World Series, getting swept in the World Series last year.
I was gonna say they want it. They're determined. I'll give them credit. I've never seen a team in baseball as more determined as they are. They remind me of the
absolutely.
I
21.
feel like I'm with Johnny. I think they're just a little bit too overconfident. If they can just tone it down a little bit, I think they got it. But all right, on to our final subject here. That this is an
Question of the
interesting
day by J Dub. J Dub, how do you want to end this episode? What question you got for us?
All right, guys, this is an instant mail classic because all the answers are different. All right, so scenario for this question is completely on land. No objects around to pick up, nothing to stand on, flat ground. What
What
size
kind of flat
al-
ground? What kind of flat ground? Are we like in a concrete desert, forest?
Grass. All right, you're just flat grass. Nothing to pick up, nothing to stand on. You're in like a dome.
Moist grass or hard grass?
Hard grass. Hadn't rained in a long time. What
Oof.
size alligator do you think you could take?
What does that sound?
Jones, we started. This is the long professional.
He's a heavy breather.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Quickly. I live in Gainesville, Florida. I see a lot of alligators. It's the most alligator-ridden city in America. I would say I could take probably a 4-foot gator that's maybe like 120 pounds.
That's all you're giving yourself credit for?
That's all I'm giving myself.
I
You've seen
agree.
The
I would
teeth on an
say-
alligator.
I agree. 4 foot, maybe 120. I've watched enough swamp people. If they can't get like a 6-foot gator, what makes me think I can get a 6-foot gator?
Because they're on a boat, dude. They're in the water on a boat. You're on flat
Okay.
ground.
Okay, how much are you giving
How
yourself?
is that? How much? I want to hear
I'm
this
interested
answer.
to see now. My dog is 80 pounds and I can barely keep up with him.
What do you
Yeah, but
guys
that's a
know?
dog. Dogs are faster than alligators. Alligators aren't that fast. And also, alligators are afraid of us like we're afraid
Answer
of
the
them.
question.
Dude,
Answer
but
the question.
if an alligator gets your pinky, you are done. Dude.
You're done.
You are
Your
done.
pinky, what are you doing? It's just going...
Yes, dude. That
You lost a
blood will
limb.
be-
You lost a limb.
That's not a limb. That is like a phalange. That's
It's
not
an
even...
appendage.
My friend in high school stepped on his pinky with an ice skate and it cut it off completely.
Let me go get
He
my
skated
med- let me
around
go
the
get
whole
my-
rink. Skate around the
Okay.
whole rink just fine.
You're skating. You're not fighting an alligator.
All right. How much are you giving yourself though?
5 feet, my height. Well, it's not. It's
How
not.
much
It's short.
weight?
It's shorter than my height.
How much weight? How much weight? How much weight?
130,
How much do you weigh?
140.
You ain't
So
going.
you think you can take on an
Yo ass
alligator
gonna get
that is
whooped. Yo ass
Yes.
almost
gonna
exactly
Yes.
the same size as you?
Can you give us
Yes.
the technique? What's the technique you gonna do?
You just run around and all right. So you get them in front of you, right? And you just kind of like do this like you're playing with a doll. You go in a circle, and then eventually they're gonna do that thing where their tail curls up next to their mouth, and that's when you jump on top of them and just because they're not gonna push up. They don't have any ability to push up. I mean, they're not out there like bench pressing. They're just
What
gonna
is that?
sit
You
there,
saw
and
some
that's it.
Jimbo wrestle an alligator one time at Alligator Alley, and you think you could do the same thing?
I've never seen
get 'em,
anybody
shoot 'em,
wrestle
shoot
an
'em.
alligator in real life. But I do think that if it was a fight or flight situation, yeah,
What?
5 feet. But you got to think
let me
though. You got to think. A 5-foot alligator is not big because half of that is its tail. Half of it is no, John. A big alligator is like 8 feet and up.
Well, let me ask you. Okay, you fight this alligator. Do you walk away without a scratch? And if so, what injuries do you have?
Oh no, I
Good
got a
question.
fucked up arm. It's messed up. Yeah, my arms. Yeah, I'm scratched.
Do you
So-
look like that guy? Do you look like that guy from Scary Movie? Grab my good hand.
All right, so let me ask you this: what size alligator would just totally kill you?
Anything
A
above
6'1".
5. Yeah,
Yeah,
6.
I was about to say, 6.
Feet,
Yeah.
you're done.
I'm okay. Totally kill me, or like I would put up a fight against it.
What's the difference between kill and kill? He
like
died, but he didn't totally die.
yeah, like one
Yes.
of them.
He's
One
like
of them. Like,
95%
okay, so-
dead.
Okay, something that like you put up no fight.
oh, like 8 and up, without a doubt.
What? You went from a big number from like 5 to 8. So you think you can take on a 7-foot alligator?
No, I don't. But like something I would be terrified to do is an 8-foot. No way.
Oh, I didn't hear. I thought you said like an 8-foot would kill you. I was like, you don't think a 7-foot would kill you? You
No,
don't-
I said originally a 6-foot would. But like seriously, if you go look at one, John, I know you live in the dot and all y'all have is circles, but if you look at an alligator,
we have peanuts.
that's what I meant to say, peanuts. Half of the alligator is its tail. Like half of its body is its tail, and that ain't gonna do nothing to you.
How many seconds in a day do you go about thinking about this?
I've asked my boss, and he looked at me and said, "What kind of question is that?" And
Yeah.
like it's a real question. It's a real thing because Aubrey got chased by one time, and my first instinct was, I wonder if it's too big for me to like jump in there or not.
Where was you at? Where was you?
I was at the river, dude. I was at my buddy's house. She was swimming
Of course, you were at the river.
with his
I
dogs,
was at the
and
river, had me a dip in. Alligator came out of nowhere.
Ooh-wee. I'm about to say.
hang on. I'm gonna show y'all why I think I could take. And actually, come to think of it, Sam, when I said the weight, that's a little ignorant because I don't think a 5-foot alligator would even weigh 130 pounds. It probably weighs like 60.
You actually made it. I don't know. I don't really know.
No,
I
I'm
don't
telling
know
you,
about
look,
alligator.
You sit there. Like I
Look.
was on a park here in Gainesville, and I saw an alligator was probably 3 or 4 feet.
Sam.
It looked like I could pick it up.
that's a 3.5-foot alligator.
That's a good point.
That's a 3.5-foot alligator. That thing is tiny. I would murk that thing.
You look so happy in that picture.
Dude, I love alligators.
Okay, I'll change.
I got
my
turtles.
answer. I'll go 6 feet, still 100 something pounds. If this is a
6
bulky
feet?
alligator, I'm dead.
Yeah. So like that
If
one,
it's-
I think that weighed probably like 35 pounds. Like it was a tiny thing. So like
You're so-
5 feet.
you're so-
That's not. That's not bad.
It's a good puppy.
You're so strong.
If alligators were perpetually 3 feet, I'd keep one as a pet.
I mean,
What's
yeah, why
perpetually?
not?
Like forever?
Yes, John.
What?
Forever.
Yes, John.
Why would you
God.
say that? Why would you not just say forever? This is a sports podcast. We're not reading Stephen King
Because
books.
I try to expand my vocabulary. Okay, try to be smart.
Well, yeah, guys, I think that's
If alligator not too big forever, I keep him as pet.
what's that quote from Waterboy? Alligator got too much teeth. That's why he's mad. Got the obligado. What's he say?
The oblongata.
Alligator got too much teeth in his mouth, and he got no toothbrush.
All right,
Well,
boys. Are we signing off?
I think that does it.
I'm gonna make a statement, guys. I'm gonna need not you, but I'm gonna need the listeners' help. We have 6 subscribers. We're gonna release an episode on Friday. And on Friday, Thursday night, if we have 20 subscribers.
Ooh, that's a big goal.
If we have 20 subscribers on Instagram, I am going to record the next episode.
On Instagram? I feel like we already got like 17.
Oh, we already got 20. We got 20 plus Instagram followers.
Oh, okay.
I am going to
It's only
need.
on YouTube, though.
I am going to record the episode with whipped cream all over my face. The entire episode.
Shaving cream.
Shaving cream. That's even better.
That would be incredible.
I'm going to say, y'all, we got to make it happen. 20 subscribers on YouTube. We got to make it happen. Got to make it happen. I mean,
Oh, I think that does it, man. That does it for
that
Well,
does
we
it.
had
Thumbs
now-
up.
2.
James
Takes up
says,
play.
Judge Sam the Sweaty Boy resigns. Y'all hit the subscribe button right below. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at headsup_play.
See y'all, guys.
Sam left.
Did he?